Is it better to watch film of Georgia or Florida State heading into this week or both?
Well, we've been watching both, really. You know, looking at personnel from last year, but obviously knowing, you know, with you know Coach Pruitt and where he's being able to watch Florida State. So yeah, I mean, you're back and forth and have been for about the last month. Just kind of trying to find out who's playing where, and just watching some of their personnel groupings and some of the stuff that they did, but more so a lot of Florida State, which is what you would expect.
Florida State was pretty vocal last fall about playing press coverage on Sammy and Martavis, everybody else, and they did that. From what you've seen of Georgia's personnel, are they able to do that in Jeremy's scheme?
Yeah, you know, I do. I think that they are. I think they're very confident in their corners. I think they're very good players. Obviously, they've got some new guys in, and you know, but I do know just you know, watching those guys from last year and playing against them a year ago, and obviously I know they've got Chattel, he's new, junior college transfer, so very good player, very good player.
It would make sense, given so many new people on your unit, to have a defense go out and challenge the quarterback to beat them. Try to force you to try to jam it down their throats. Today you want to run the ball more, but do you anticipate that kind of challenge, particularly early on in the next year?
Well, I think, you know, that's the hardest part of a first game is there's so many unknowns. So many unknowns on their part, so many unknowns on our part. You know, they're probably asking themselves some of the same questions. They're going to be who they are. We're going to be who we are. They've shown to you know, Jeremy's shown to really like to pressure, and pressured all year long last year at Florida State. I don't think they really cared who they played. They were going to do what he does. And I think coming into this game, I can't see that being an issue. I mean, they're obviously it's a huge game, but there's a lot of games ahead. So there's kind of, as a coach, you look and there's a plan in place on how you develop and how you install your system and get it in by certain times of the year, and you kind of have a calendar for it. But you know, I definitely foresee that him, especially with the new quarterback, and you know, we're expecting him to bring pressure and press us on the outside. I mean, that's kind of what we're expecting, and it's not going to be anything that you know, kind of it's going to be revolutionary that we hadn't seen before.
You think you'll see a lot lighter group than you saw last year when they came here, just based on his success at fielding sort of leaner, lighter spread?
Well, I think that was a big emphasis for him, and coming out of spring, and just everything I've heard, that, you know, they've moved some guys around, and they've got some guys that were starters and aren't starting, and guys that were starters are going to start, but other guys are going to play, and so it's, you know, again, that's that unknown that you really don't know about. But yeah, I know there's been a big emphasis there, and again, you know, the first game, there's a lot of unknowns. The one thing I can control and we can't control is the Clemson Tigers, and regardless who we're playing, you know, we've got a general understanding and a pretty good idea how they're going to adjust and line up, and you got to go execute.
What's your confidence right now with Sharon?
You know, I think Sharon has had a good week last week. I think his issue is getting him back into playing shape. He hasn't had any issues at all on off the knee. It's been more so of just getting him in shape. You know, last week was pretty hot, so we had a chance to really test him pretty good last week, and he's going to play. He's going to play and hopefully play quite a bit. You know, we're excited about it. You know, when he's out there and he's fresh, he's a difference maker.
Do you expect Reed and Mack to split time on Saturday, or would you try to make a decision in the next 5 minutes?
Well, you know, Reed, of everybody that we've had up front this past fall camp, Reed was probably the biggest, you know, surprise. I don't want to use the word surprise in a bad way. I mean, Reed is, you know, it's kind of what we've been waiting on, and he had a really good fall camp. And so you're going to see Reed's going to be able to play multiple positions to help us out with you know, the guys that we got. But yeah, you'll see McLean will get in there, and he'll be in at left guard at times as well. So yeah, he's going to get to play.
Depth at tackle a concern right now, just with Shaq?
Well, you know, you've got it's always a concern, you know, with that. But you know, we've got some guys that we're able to move around and you know, cut and paste in some areas, and you know, it's obviously we're looking at Isaiah being our left tackle and Joe Gore being the right tackle. And if we get in a situation we got to do some moving around, we'll do that as well.
What's Jordan done to earn that spot right now?
Well, you know, Jordan's had a good camp. It's kind of picked up where he left off in the fall or in the spring. Hey, I thought he had a really good spring. I thought he'd done everything this fall to kind of start separating himself. Obviously, we're going to need all those guys there. Sam Cooper's had a good fall camp as well. But really hoping that Jordan will have a big year for us. He needs to.
Where's Stanton's ankle at right now?
Stanton actually got back out on the field last week. Looked good. We'll see how he is as the week progresses.
When you look at what you have coming back and what you lost, do you look at it in terms of replacing one or two players, or do you look at it as replacing the collective numbers that they produced last season to try to get your offense to that same level?
Well, I think number one, I think every team every year, and I think I think coaches would tell you this, is different year to year. This team, this offense will be different than last year's. Last year was different than the year before. There was different dynamics that come into play. We're excited about the playmakers that we have. They've got to go produce now. And while we've got some returning veteran guys, on our side of the ball, there's not as many returning that have gotten huge experience in critical situations. They've played, but have they played in a situation with the game on the line? I mean, not as many. We've had a few, but not as many. So, you know, to find who those playmakers are, and we got an idea, and you know, I think the dynamic of this team offensively is going to be different than it was last year. And I think that you know, you can't, you know, we're going to obviously be who we are, but you know, you're going to try to do some things that they help your playmakers out a little bit.
When you look at the collection of people you're going to draw from, do you have more candidates as playmakers?
I think so. I do. You know, I do. I think so. Obviously, you know, we know what Sammy has done for us, and Martavis and all those guys, and Taj. But, you know, again, going back to our running back core, we're really excited about that group. I'm excited about our wide receiver group. We just got some young kids, young guys, and to be able to put them in some important roles and some matchups, and that's our job as coaches to do that. So I'm excited about them. Anybody else?
DJ Howard said, you know, hey, I'm going to be the starter, but I expect it to be a three-man tag. Still think that way, that it's just going to be back to
Oh yeah. No, those guys are going to play. DJ had a good fall camp. Obviously, being the senior, he's earned that right. You know, you hate that's what with us losing Zach. He was such a threat out of the backfield as well. But C.J. Davidson's had a really good camp. Wayne Gallman's had a good camp. And so, yeah, you're going to see those guys on the field playing. And Adam Choice, you know, a young man that we're extremely high on, just a freshman that, you know, again, he's got a great future ahead of him.
What freshman do you expect to have to redshirt, or that you would like to redshirt?
Well, it's too early to say that right now. You know, I wouldn't want to say that and kind of get into that mix right now. But you know, we've got an idea, but you know, we also had an idea on Adam Choice, and so it just you know, some things just can't you can't put that into you know, hey, this is what we're going to do until you get into it and realize that you know, who knows? An injury may keep a guy from redshirting, kind of similar to Adam.
The guys that were here, Damari Kidd, during the spring, we
Mhm.
expect them to play. Martavis Scott.
We do. Yes, we do. We expect those guys to be contributors. We do. They've had a really good camp. So, yeah.
Any of those freshman offensive linemen jump into the mix?
Not, you know, right now at this stage, I can't see any at this point in time. Not right now.
What did Adam Choice show you to let you know that he was ready?
Well, number one, he's a humble young man, very humble, and always willing to learn. Comes to work, doesn't say much, is very attentive in his meetings. He's a perfectionist when it comes to that, and then his ability to make plays on the field. He's got a low center of gravity. He runs hard, runs over the top of his pads. You know, this is a kid that played quarterback for his team, and but very explosive and quick. Extremely quick.
Tyrone Crowder, just looking at him physically, looks like he's ready, but what does he have to do to get on the field?
He's getting there. You know, he is. He's getting there. He was up and down in fall camp, but has really made huge strides. So you know, I think he's a young man that's going to wind up playing this year. At what point in time, I don't know. He'll be ready to go Saturday night if we need him, without a doubt. But he's getting there. I'm excited about the progress in Tyrone.
A veteran that we don't hear much about, been here a long time, looked like he slimmed down Spencer Region. Can he play this year, or?
Well, he's going to travel, you know, and so we'll see. You know, again, I know what we've got right now, and I know he's worked extremely hard on slimming down and getting into shape, and obviously has gone through camp and worked extremely hard, and so we'll see. Like I said, at this point, it's too early to say on that. That's it, huh?
All set?